the 411 on Team 119, proudly presented by Margaritaville Island Hotel and the Saint Somewhere Spa in Pigeon Forge, exclusively on RTI TV.
Welcome to RTI TV, and it's time for another edition of the 411 on Team 119, brought to you exclusively by Margaritaville Island Hotel and the Saint Somewhere Spa in Pigeon Forge. I'm Reed Carringer alongside former Vol wideout Jayson Swain of the Swain event, and he's here to talk Tennessee's defensive backs and wide receivers. Swain, welcome to the program.
Hey man, thanks for having me. I'm excited about being here, talking wide receivers, talking DBs. Let's do it.
Well, we're glad you're here. Here's the format for today. We're going to ask you 4 questions about Tennessee's wide receivers and defensive backs, and then ask you to give us your one big concern for Team 119 and one bold prediction for the Vols this season. You ready to roll?
Can't wait. Let's do it.
First up, Swain, the wide receiver position. Will Tennessee have a true number one guy at that spot, or will they have several top options at wideout?
I think every football team, every season, you're going to have a quarterback develop that trust with the wide receiver, and the wide receiver emerged as the number one guy. Last year for Tennessee, it was Pig Howard. This year, not really sure. Marquez North, Von Pearson, you got Juwan Jennings, you got a number of guys that's really been getting after it in fall practice, and no one has really stepped forward. But I think at some point during the season, you'll see Joshua Dobbs develop that trust with that one receiver that he gets the ball to in crunch time situations, and you will see a number one receiver.
There's certainly been a lot of hype around that wide receiving core headed into this year. Question number 2, Swain, is can that group be more about production than potential this fall?
I think so. Last year, there was a lot of hype surrounding the wide receiver position, claiming wide receiver U. And then you didn't have the production with the hype, and you had other schools like Baylor, Clemson having more success at wide receiver U, and they felt the need to put out a video. Well, Tennessee responded with a video of their own, but now you have to match that with production, with results. Guys like Juwan Jennings, 6'4", can make plays over the top of DBs. He's going to have to make plays in the passing game. Also in the running game, being intimidating, knocking safeties back, knocking corners back, really bringing the fight to the defensive backs. That's the attitude that Tennessee wide receivers will have to play with this football season, and they look like they can do it so far. We'll have to see what happens.
For question 3, we jump to the defensive backfield. There's a lot of preseason watch lists out there, All-American teams, All-SEC teams, and Cam Sutton seems to be missing from many of them. Swain, is he the most undervalued cornerback in the SEC?
Oh, without a doubt, Cam Sutton's been making plays ever since he arrived on campus 2 years ago, and he doesn't let it get to him on the outside, but on the inside, I know he uses that for fuel for his fire. He's a leader. He's taking his game to another level this year. Everyone follows Cam Sutton. He's going to have a breakout year, and I dare quarterbacks to throw the ball his direction. We'll
stay in the defensive backfield for question number 4. Who steps up in the absence of injured ball safety with Daryl McNeil?
Well, this is why you recruit. Coach Jones has done a great job the last 2 years, top 5 recruiting classes, because now when you have an injury, you can replace that guy with a very talented, physically gifted guy that belongs on the same playing field as your competition in the SEC. And you have guys like Todd Kelly, you have guys like Stephen Griffin, Evan Berry, that can compete physically and be able to step up and fill that void left by Daryl McNeil. So we'll see what happens. It makes Coach Jancic's job a little bit harder, but he certainly has the guys back there to get the job done.
We're done with questions. Swain, it's time for you to give us your one big concern for Team 119 this fall.
My biggest concern is, can this football team stay off the emotional roller coaster? Players and coaches. The fans will be hanging on every single game. You have Florida on the road, you have Arkansas at home, Oklahoma at home, Georgia at home. These are big-time games for this football team, and whether they win or lose, they have to get ready to play the next game because it's a 13-week season. So my biggest concern is, can this football team run their marathon instead of worrying about the sprint each week?
It's that time. Swain, give us your one bold prediction for this season.
I'm going to stick with the wide receivers. That's my position. That's what I know. Last year, the receivers struggled against Florida. They have 2 great defensive backs at corner. Vernon Hargraves, All-American. Jalen Tabor, that will potentially be an All-American. Both guys were 5 stars coming out of high school. Really, really tough to make big plays against. But I think with our wide receivers that we'll have at least one wide receiver go over 100 yards at the Swamp. I'm making it. I'm saying it. One receiver over 100 yards at the Swamp.
Tennessee receivers taking it to Florida DBs will truly make Vol fans happy this season. Swain, thanks for joining us. That's a wrap for another edition of the 411 on Team 119, brought to you exclusively by Margaritaville Island Hotel and the Saint Somewhere Spa in Pigeon Forge. For Jayson Swain, I'm Reed Carringer. Thank you for watching RTI TV.